Britain will not be free of EU fishing rules until at least 2040, one of the fishing industry's leading legal experts warned as Brexit talks stutter ahead of this month's deadline. Trade talks between the UK and EU are due to resume later on Monday in a final bid to agree a post-Brexit deal. After a weekend of tense negotiations, EU sources suggested an agreement on fishing was close. However, this was later disputed by Downing Street. It comes as the EU's chief Brexit negotiator Michel Barnier announced last week that Prime Minister Boris Johnson had lowered his demands on Brussels by asking for up to 60% of catches in UK waters back from EU fishing fleets. As he briefed ambassadors and members of the European Parliament, Mr. Barnier said Downing Street had revised its demand down from 80%. It is not clear whether these numbers have once again been revised. As Brexiteers fear the result of the 2016 referendum could be betrayed with a less than substantial deal, a warning by one of the fishing industry's leading legal experts has resurfaced. Andrew Oliver argued it is unlikely the industry will be free of European control before 2040 and that it might never happen. He said that in the long term it might be possible to wrestle back some of the quota and fishing rights taken by European fleets, notably the Dutch and the Spanish, but that it would probably cost billions of pounds in compensation. The trusted specialist in the field of marine law and commercial fisheries said 2 years ago, "I think it will take up to 20 years before we are completely divorced and have our own standalone statute book. What we may end up with may not look much different to what we started with." That's not what the fishermen had in mind. I think they were ill-informed. At the same time as fishing regulations, the government is negotiating eggs and cars and trees and every other manufacturing product, and finance and trade. Our civil service simply hasn't got the capacity or the experience to legislate. Referring to the 2016 EU referendum, and the so-called Battle of the Thames when Brexit Party leader Nigel Farage and fishermen confronted Bob Geldof and Remain campaigners, he added in his interview with the Eye, "In many respects the fishing industry, I wouldn't say hijacked, but it was misled and misdirected in what it believed would come from Brexit. Many fishermen believe they were betrayed by the government when fishing rights were negotiated as Britain joined the European Economic Community (EEC), the precursor to the EU.